I've developed a technique for building really nice posable hands for the Project Puppet Simple Series patterns. This would also work on the Forma Series patterns. You just cut the main palm piece out of foam and build the fingers according to the hand pattern for that series. Here I've sketched a palm pattern and indicated the locations for the fingers and the wrists. I then get a piece of 1/2 inch craft foam. In this case I found some really cheap garden pads at Michael's, so I'm using one of those. There's two sides, one's smooth and one's rough, textured, and it's dense, firm, but very, very lightweight. I transfer the pattern onto the foam using a Sharpie marker, and I will indicate the location of each digit on the pattern. You'll see where this comes into play when you're placing the wire. I also indicate whether it's the left or the right hand. Of course, you just flip the pattern over for the opposite hand and trace that pattern down as well. Once the pattern's down on the foam, I will take an X-Acto knife and start cutting the shapes out of the foam. It's pretty dense, it's a little bit hard to cut. It's best to start with a nice sharp blade. It will eat up your blades quite quickly. Like most of the foam products that we cut out, it does chew up our tools. Then I'll finalize the edges with a pair of scissors, just trimming it and rounding it. Once I'm finished with that, I go to the next part. I found this flexible garden tie I believe I found it at Target. It was really cheap. It's a wire coated with a silicone rubber, very soft, flexible coating, and I bend digit size shapes and cut them out for each of the digits on the hand. Next, I take a piece of stiff wire and I use that to poke holes in the proper locations for each digit on the palm size piece. And you need to work the wire a little bit to make sure that the holes are big enough to take the digit wires that you'd cut out previously. You start inserting the wires into the holes, and you want to make sure that they will fit properly with the fabric pattern. So once I get it seated, I'll grab the Project Puppet pattern and make sure that I have the wire inserted far enough into the hand so that it won't be too long for the fabric once it's completed. Then I just continue on the same technique for each of the digits on the hand. Once I have all the wires inserted for each digit, I double check the pattern, make sure they're the proper length. I'll take some quick dry super glue and I will tack each wire at the base at the hole to secure it firmly to the foam palm pattern. It works great, dries really quick, and super glue does not hurt that type of foam at all. It will eat regular foam, styrofoam, but it won't eat this kind of craft foam. The next step, once I have my hand armature completed, I get it ready for putting it into the fabric. You want nice soft fingers to fill out the fabric, and I use insulation foam. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. It's really sticky on one side, and I will wrap each digit lengthwise in this foam. It works really well once you get the hang of it. Once each digit is wrapped, I peel the paper backing off and I squeeze the foam down around each wire, making sure it's secure. It only needs to remain in place for the next couple of minutes. You'll see as I insert it into the fabric. I've left the fabric open at the wrist. I haven't sewn beyond that point. And then it's simply like putting your hand into a glove. If you have the digits at the correct length, they fit right into the pattern. You just squeeze and manipulate the pattern down around the hand armature. Get each one in there and you will be all set to go. To finalize the look of the hand, I will grab a little bit of polyfill, fiberfill, and push it into the back side of the hand to round that out a little bit. It's okay if the palm is flat and square, at least it is for me. I like the way that looks. It helps differentiate the front from the back of the hand. Just tuck that polyfill in there. Pull your fabric up around the seams. And generally use the Henson stitch or the ladder stitch to close up your fabric. If you've got a good thick felt, it will, or fleece, it will hide the seam very well. And at the heel of the hand, if you're going to do a arm rod, you can snip the fabric, make a little slit in it. And what I use, I have aluminum tubing that I will cut off at about 1.5 inches and insert it into the foam at the heel of the hand. If you spin the tube while you're pushing, you can get it set into the foam. A little drop of super glue, and I will use a Sharpie marker to paint the tube black so it won't distract on the camera. And your control rod slips right into that tube. Now you can add a drop of glue to hold it in place, or you can add a little bit of tape on the end of the rod and make it removable. And there you go, posable hand.